Welcome back to Digi Bros.
What's up?
So I actually had a topic that I've been that's been burning a hole in my pocket ever since like right after the last.
It is.
No, I bookmarked a page for this, and this was why I kept bugging you about doing Zelda earlier, because I wanted to get this fucking topic out before I'd forget, because it was interesting to me. But
I dropped the nunchuck.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Oh god.
But we never got the fucking around to it, and I did want to talk about it on Earthbound.
You douche.
So I wanted to talk about how I get my useless knowledge, right? Because I have an encyclopedic wealth of knowledge about shit. Mostly about anime and music that like I can just drop at the drop of a hat. And people have asked me a lot of times like, how do you have so much knowledge? And I always just say, well, I research stuff, I read about stuff, but like I found the perfect example of how the rabbit hole goes. And I can share it with you today because as this was happening, I realized it was happening, and I thought it was interesting. So, I've talked before on here that I go on 4chan a lot, right? Particularly on A and on Mew, and I love charts and lists. Victor can tell you, I'm obsessed with lists.
I think we've talked. In
fact, we've talked about this on Zelda before, on Ocarina of Time. Did we? That I have this like list obsession.
Oh yeah.
Because that was when I made the list of all the games I'd played.
Oh yes.
That? Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm not gonna make this fucking list.
Yeah, so I'm obsessed with lists and charts.
Boom,
and
bitch.
So I have saved like tons of like recommendation charts and favorite charts and stuff like that people make on 4chan, because 4chan's big on charts. There's always like, someone will make a chart, and if it's good, it'll get passed around a lot. Usually a recommendation chart of some kind. So like for instance, one of the charts I had saved was a flow chart for getting into I think in this case it was shoegaze music, right? Which is a genre that we've talked about a lot on Earthbound, characterized by droning, sort of sleepy sounding guitars that are heavily effect driven, lots of reverb, stuff like that. If you ever listen to My Bloody Valentine or early Smashing Pumpkins, that's the sound, right? So I have these charts for shoegaze, because it's a genre I like, and I wanted to listen to more of it. And I'm on the chart, and I see this band called Coal Tar of the Deepers.
Coal Tar of the Deepers.
Yes, weird-ass name, right? And I'm just listening to, like, everything on this chart, like, one at a time. I'm going through the areas that interest me, like, I'm going down the noisier route, and I'm like, yeah, give me some noisy stuff and stuff like that, or weird or experimental.
Hold on.
So, Coal Tar of the Deepers is a Japanese band. And I'm listening to their album called Yukari Telepath, which was on the chart, and it was pretty cool, and it was really weird, and like changes genres a lot. Like it has parts that sound like metal, and then it'll be shoegazy and poppy, and like it's this weird album, and I was like, whoa, this is a trip, right? So I go onto Wikipedia to look up what all their albums are, so I can go download them, and it says that the leader of the group is also a member of a band has a solo project called Sad Esper Record, right? And I'm like, that name sounds super familiar. I'm pretty sure that's one of the artists on the Boogie Pop Phantom soundtrack. Because Boogie Pop Phantom, the Boogie Pop Phantom soundtrack, which is like all electronic, like weird music, which I've had since like 2005 on my computer. Every song is by a different artist.
What the fuck am I doing right now?
I really don't know. You've lost me. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to be saving that monkey.
I gotta get a bomb to blow up this thing, I think.
What thing?
The center of this room, I thought, but I'm probably not, and my brain hurts.
No.
But there's this guy. I gotta
look
get
up.
that.
Just look up and look
there.
around. Look around. Go look up. You have to
a
drop
hole.
down that hole.
Yeah, so I have to blow up the top.
No.
Oh wait,
what's
that's
above
the
that hole?
spider web hole.
Yeah. Just
How do I
go
break
down
the spider webs?
The fire. Use your lamp.
I was trying that. It
Did
didn't
you
seem
roll
to
with
be
the
working.
lamp?
That's what I was trying to do.
Ocarina of Time.
All right, well, we're trying
Anyways,
the lamp.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure Sad Esper Record was on this Boogie Pop Phantom CD, right? So I look it up, and sure enough, it is Sad Esper Record. So this band, Coal Tar of the Deepers, is also on the Boogie Pop Phantom
what the
OST.
fuck?
So I was like, wow, interesting connection. Well, it also says on this guy's Wikipedia that he did the soundtrack for some anime. I don't remember which one it was, but like he had done an anime soundtrack, like just himself individually. And I was like, I wonder if he's done other, because it only listed this one, but I was like, I wonder if he's done other anime music. And he'd done like some OSTs, he'd done some opening and endings. And as soon as I start realizing this, I'm like, this band Koltar of the Deepers sounds just like the ending theme from Mawaru Penguin Drum. Because when I heard the ending theme from Mawaru Penguin Drum, I was like, this is definitely a shoegaze song. It sounds like My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah, it's
I wonder
cool.
who did this. And it turns out it was Koltar of the Deepers who did the Mawaru Penguin Drum ending theme. So, like, all of this is just because I looked at some chart and listened to some band. And now I find out that the leader of this band is a guy who, like, besides having an influential shoegaze band that ran through, like, the 90s and early 2000s that has, like, 10 albums on their own, also is the side project Sad As Per Record, which did music for the Boogie Pop Phantom OST that I've been listening to for 10 years, and also did the ending theme of Mawaru Penguin Drum, which is a fucking phenomenal ending theme, and has done all kinds of other shit, like
spazzing out?
all kinds of anime soundtracks and stuff that he's worked on. I was just like, hold on, let me look. I think there was another one that I was interested in. I think he had worked on, he's also the guy who did the arrangements of the Kenji Otsuki songs in Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei.
Wow.
So, like, which made sense once I knew, because, like, Kenji Otsuki is a singer for the band Kiniku Shogotai, right? Or, like, Muscular Girls Club, I believe is what it's called, translates to. And, like, they just did the opening theme of Ushio and Tora. And, yeah, Kiniku Shoujotai is like a heavy rock, like, you know, a very fun, crazy, wacky band with like heavy instrumentation and stuff like that. They sound like a classic like punk rock band or something. But like, you know, like he did the Welcome to the NHK ending song, and that sounds like that band, Kiniku Shoujotai. But like, the Kenji Otsuki songs on Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei, which are just credited as, like, you know, Kenji Otsuki and the Zetsubo Shoujo group, don't really sound like his music. They're more, like, out there.
Yeah.
They're a kind of metal, but they're also a little bit, like, shoegazy and calm and tempered. And so, like, it makes more sense that this guy wrote those songs.
Yeah.
You know?
It always did seem like, how are these songs, like, so great for Otsuki Kenji?
It doesn't sound like Otsuki Kenji's band. It sounds like something different. And, like, I don't know if he did that whole album, because it's not listed anywhere. This is the kind of information that's hard to come by, because, like, these people, you know, this guy's working under different names. He's not, because it's credited to Otsuki Kenji and the Zetsubo Shoujo Girls. It's not, or Shoujo group. It's not listed as Narasaki.
Well, I just turned over to see this dude on the My Anime List picture. Yeah. He looks so fucking emo.
He looks very shoegaze, I'd say.
His fucking hair in the eyes.
Yeah. But like,
glasses wearing.
And this dude's still doing. He just did the soundtrack to Expelled from Paradise, which is the latest Gen Urobuchi film. He did the music for Ungo. He did.
Ungo had pretty great music too. So
yeah,
this guy is pretty much fucking on point.
Some Hanamaru Kindergarten songs. You know,
and that's Prison School. I kind of want to watch Prison School after someone had talked about it.
Oh, that's a fun show.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was around.
Yeah, it's from the new season.
And then it's like it's the guy who did something else great.
Shirobako, the director.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, I mean it's a manga adaptation, and it's very goofy, but like, yeah, it's fun. But yeah, so I learned about this like really obscure figure in animation because I happened to be looking at a chart of fucking, you know, something completely unrelated, a shoegaze and a music chart that had nothing to do with anime or Japan, just happened to have that band on there, and that led me to all that. So that's where
the boss key
my anime knowledge, that's why I have such like weird obscure knowledge, because I'll go down trains like that where I'll look into a band and unexpectedly find out that they're responsible for all this other stuff. I didn't expect this to be anime related at all, you know? I just looked up this band and happened to find out that this guy's worked on anime.
Yeah.
And then also that he's worked on some of my favorite anime songs ever, you know, that I've been a huge fan of the Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei openings and the, you know, and that album, whether he worked on it or not, I've always been a fan of. And, you know, pretty cool stuff to suddenly learn out of nowhere.
What was the moral of the story here, though?
To show how I get my useless anime knowledge.
Oh, okay. Because
people ask me all the time, like, how do you know all this shit?
Yeah, just by randomly looking shit up and figuring
like,
it out.
Yeah, it's, like, often random chance. Like, and I mean, I'll expand on it if I'm, like, when I wrote my Cowboy Bebop series video, you know, it was a combination of years of knowledge and, like, a day of research, you know, where, like, I knew a bunch of those directors and that they were connected.
I went to that, at Otakon, I went to that directors, like those directors you should know, like essential directors or whatever, and it was just everything he said was covered in your one video, but in a less entertaining way. Yeah, and I was like, yep, there's not a single director he mentioned that wasn't in there. Maybe like one towards the end.
In which video? Like
nothing special.
In the Cowboy Bebop video.
I think it was the Cowboy Bebop one. It was whichever one. It was one of the ones I edited that had just everyone.
Yeah, that would be Cowboy Bebop.
And I was like, yep, it's all the Cowboy Bebop guys. That's pretty much everyone essential.
Well, you said he talked about the Shirobako guy. He wasn't in there.
Did he talk about that guy?
Is that not how you found out about prison school?
I thought that was in the Shirobako.
Oh,
wait.
Maybe that's what you mean.
Maybe it wasn't. I don't remember which panel that was in.
Well, yeah. Like, with the Cowboy Bebop video, like, I knew a bunch of those things already. Like, I knew that, you know, I knew about all the shows Shiro Watanabe had worked on. I knew he always has Yoko Kanno, and, like, that he'd worked with Shoji Kawamori. Like, I knew some of those basic things. But then what I'll do is I'll just go onto Anime News Network, and this is how I do the research for all of the big, like, studio study projects. I go onto Anime News Network, and all of the people who are in the, like, the major... Like, if you go on ANN, it has a list of the staff for a show, right? And it has, like, the major staff and the minor staff. And the major staff will be at the top, and then the minor staff will be, like, every animator, every whatever, you know. But what I'll do is I'll go to the major staff, and I'll just middle-click every single name there, open them all in new tabs. And then anyone who's worked on another show that I plan to talk about, I go to that show's page, right? So, like, I'll click on, like, let's say an assistant director, and then I see that he's worked on Darker Than Black. And then I click on the next person, and I see that they've also worked on Darker Than Black. So then Darker Than Black makes it onto my list. And just anyone who worked on both shows, I write down their name, you know.
Which makes sense. That's the way you would do this.
So that's all it is. It's me going down ANN and taking note of anybody who's worked on two of the same shows.
Yes.
So it's like, the director of Darker Than Black was also a writer on Cowboy Bebop, or an episode director on Cowboy Bebop, Tensai Okamura. I think that's right. So then I go, oh yeah, maybe he was an episode director on
I didn't do the finishing thing. Fuck.
I'm not sure.
Boom! First boss defeated, motherfucker.
But yeah.
Whoa!
That's how those videos come into being. So it's like anyone could do this research. It's just a matter of, like, you know, finding yourself in these situations where you start learning about people, you know, and then watching a lot of shit. Like, you know, most of the stuff I talk about in that Cowboy Bebop video, I've been familiar with for a long time. I did not watch any anime for the sake of that video. I went by what I know, what I've heard, you know, reviews, things like that, for anything I hadn't seen. And I try not to talk too long about shows I haven't seen because, you know, it's obvious I haven't seen them. But I definitely think if you're going to do that kind of video, you need to have seen a lot of shit. Like, that's the first step towards knowing things, is just having seen stuff and being able to go like, oh, I care about this creator because I've actually, like, now... You know, for me, whenever I learn about a creator, I usually am shocked because I've seen a bunch of their shit. And I go, oh my god, that guy worked on all those shows?
Exactly.
That guy's a genius, you know?
Or like, oh, that makes sense. All these shows are great. Of course, they have all the same fucking staff.
And even sometimes, like, I get more interested in shows I dropped before. Because, like, or ones that I haven't finished. Because the guy who directed Shirobako...
he did some weird stuff, and I was like, wow, I thought those things were bad, and yet this guy did them.
No, so everything he's done is is good in a way. Like, because I've seen a lot of that shit, and like, for instance, because the last show he had done before Shirobako that was big was Girls in Panzer, right?
Yeah.
And I haven't seen all of that yet, but I've seen the first episode and it was amazing, and Shade loves it, and most people love it, right? It was a huge, successful show. And early into Shirobako, someone was showing how he uses the smash cut joke in both shows. Where, like, in the first episode of Shirobako, there's that scene where they all hold up the donut, and then it smash cuts to the steering wheel, and she's just, like, dead. And it was perfect, right? And in Girls in Panzer, there's, like, a scene where the girl is, like, sitting in her chair, and, like, there's, like, something...
I saved the village.
It's like that moment when you pause before you realize something, and it's, like, the pause, but then it shows the background change, like, 3 times, like, she was going from one place to another, but it just shows the background sliding in and out, and then she realizes it.
Yeah. And
it was great. And, like, and he does stuff like that in the first episode of Prison School, too, where there's, like, the joke is the timing of the cut. And, like, I've seen probably 5 episodes of Squid Girl, and there's plenty of stuff like that in that show. Like, he's done a lot of comedy shows where the directing is the best part of the show.
Yes.
But oftentimes, it's not a great show just because the writing isn't all there. Like, Squid Girl just gets boring because it's the same jokes over and over again. You know, it's one of those shows where it's like, once you've met all the characters, then those characters are just going to keep coming back and saying the same thing and doing the same thing. So it kind of just bores me after not very long.
We made it to the Hyrule Field!
But like, when I looked at his list of shows, I was like, yeah, those are all solidly directed comedy shows that I completely understand that he worked on, you know? Whether or not I really am into the show or not. And most of them have cult followings. None of them are like shows that everyone hates, you know? I remember the first episode of Chemico DX being fucking weird and out there. So I'd like to maybe finish that one too. But yeah, like, knowing that after watching Shirobako and knowing that he worked on all those shows, I immediately wanted to go finish anything I dropped by him. You know, like, just thinking, oh man, you know, that show wasn't that bad. Maybe I deserved to, like, maybe I should finish it. Like, maybe I was premature in dropping it, or now I want to see what kind of interesting stuff he did there.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's my rant.
Yep.
I've had that one
completely
for a while. I think I had maybe another subject that I wanted to talk about that I didn't write down that's now gone, but that one I was like really particularly wanted to talk about for a while. So I hope you all enjoyed, and that you'll do the same. Just when you learn about something, research it, and you'll probably go down a rabbit hole.
Sometimes I do that and it's fun.
'Cause, like,
when I'm not being a fucking
the world is
shithead.
The world of creatives is small, especially somewhere like Japan.
Yes.
Where there's like the anime industry is like a handful of people who work on everything, you know? So when you start looking into stuff, you realize that, like, the talent pool is not enormous for anime. And a lot of those people know each other and work with each other, you know? Like when we were at the Masao Maruyama panel, and he was talking about how, like, he's good friends with the director of Shirobako. I don't know if it was the director of the show or if it was the leader of PA Works that he was referring to. Yeah. Because the leader of PA Works is apparently friends with, like, everybody in the industry, and it's like his connections that make Shirobako possible, you know. So I'm sure the guy who's the leader of PA Works knows everyone who he referenced in Shirobako, you know? It's not like they were just pulling people randomly. It's all people that they know, because it's a small, insular, incestuous...
incestuous.
Yeah. In a way that's almost dangerous, because a lot of people say that one of the big problems with Japanese animation is that everyone copies the same people. Yeah. Like, Kaneda, I can never remember his last name, but he was like one of the biggest animators from the 70s, and like everyone copied his style, and like it's like he's like an entire school of Japanese animation is just people copying Kaneda, you know. So
the sword,
whether that's a good or bad thing,
broken blade,
depends on how much you like that guy's style, I guess. Anyway, that's it for this episode of Digi Bros.
Swag.
I hope you enjoyed. You'll stick around for the next one.
Yeah.